I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Sparky.
And Salty and Chip. You know, Jim Root's been out here too.
Yeah,
Just
and
can't
Jimmy.
see him, yeah.
Should call him Jimmy.
Jimmy. Yeah, then we can sound like we really know him. Yeah.
Yeah,
buddy,
that's my guy. That's my guy. Somebody in the comment section said, I love you guys, but you need to stop talking about Salty and Chip and blah, 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 blah.
Oh.
I said, we shall not.
If you want to abandon your friends, fine.
Fine.
We're not those types of people.
We're not those types of individuals.
Salty, salty, salty.
Chip, Chip, Chip.
Doot, doot, doot.
Sparky. Love you, my guy. Shout out to the big homie.
Okay, whoa.
Okay.
Are you starting with Pony?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
She's having her anniversary today.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys will have a fun night. Anyway, this song is going to be in honor of you guys.
Unbelievable.
What?
Where in the world is
Not
the
everybody's
village?
like you and thinks it's a necessary evil.
Where in the world
Yes.
is the village?
The big homie Danny from
Is he from Cali?
Southern California.
Southern SoCal?
Yeah.
West Side?
All right, here he is.
Shout out to the big homie. Got a Sori Secret shirt. Everybody looks awesome. Everybody looks like a badass when they wear that
Yeah.
shirt, man.
I agree.
Like, it's hard not to feel like a badass if you're rocking that shirt. You got this girl. Somebody was like, who's that on the Sori Secret shirt?
When I went to print the shirts, the guy said the same thing. Well, he didn't ask who it was. He was like, so the girl on the shirt, blah, blah, blah. And my kids were like, are you going to tell him it's you? I'm like, no.
You're in Egypt. You're in UAE.
I know, I'm all over the place.
You're all over. You're global. Sori's
Yep.
global.
Yep.
Little old Vin here in America. Because I'm
Why?
black. Because I'm black.
No, we
Nobody
just haven't
loves
printed
me.
your shirt yet.
I told my brother, I showed him the Schoolcraft picture. I'm like, do you know who that is? He goes, Sori? I'm like, no, it's not Sori. I said, that's Lindsay Schoolcraft from Cradle of Filth. He was like, what? What? I'm like, that's right. He's like, you're famous. We're famous because a famous person's wearing our
Which
shirt.
brother? Your older brother or
No,
younger one?
my older brother doesn't.
I didn't know I was like, I didn't know he knew about our channel.
He's too busy doing important stuff in the world. Okay. Speaking of Sori's Secret shirt, we have winners from our
Yes,
What
we
Does
do.
the Village Mean to You contest.
Sadly, the 40,000 subscriber did not respond to us in time. Sadly for him. Happy for you guys, though, because that means we picked 2 essay winners.
like I
If
don't.
we're going to give out something, we're going to give it out.
Yeah. So the big homie, I think his name is Fernando Ramos. He was our 40,000th subscriber, so we were just going to give him a free shirt, but he
Yep.
never emailed us to claim his shirt.
No.
So what we did was we said let's give away another shirt then. So we have two
Yep.
winners.
Yes, we do.
So our runner-up.
From Argentina. Well,
No.
Sorry.
No, that wasn't the runner-up.
no, I know.
God
But I didn't
almighty.
realize you were going to say that.
Our
I thought you were gonna say
runner-up
our
who will
first.
receive a shirt is Miss Luthine Kalaline.
Woo.
And she wrote an amazing essay, unbelievable, very beautiful.
There was lots of great essays.
Oh my God, there were
we're not
poems.
giving participation awards to everybody.
Right, but
like
there were
this was- But there was
poems.
really some great things.
Alex wrote a great poem. Osiris wrote a great. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I loved it. It was so crazy. This one was definitely difficult to pick through because all of them they're just getting better and better. So Luthien Kalaleen, Calaelen. Apologies if I said your real name. You didn't want us to. Please email us vinandsori@gmail.com. Your
need to know your size,
your address.
your address.
Do you want it signed?
and you want it signed?
And
You know, I can talk too. And no, I didn't have anything else. Go ahead.
drum roll, please.
That was a little choppy.
Drum roll, please, for the winner. The guy who did it all
Yeah.
was the big homie Juan.
Straight from Argentina.
Juan from Argentina.
These are
We've talked a little bit, Juan, so send us an email,
Yep.
vinandsori@gmail.com. Tell us your size, your address, and we will cover the shipping. Don't worry about it. I'm not supposed to say that, but we'll cover the
no.
shipping.
We decided when
Okay.
it was something like this, we're
Okay.
going to do that.
All right. So congratulations to you two. We will be doing another contest soon enough. If you can win a shirt or a book or whatever.
Yeah, we still have that other Heinz Feet in High Places book.
Yep. All right, let's go. We're going on a 5-minute chart.
Well, I know, but...
Okay, so this is 1349 Legion.
Okay.
This should be very interesting. So they named this... Go ahead.
So they named this what?
1349 Legion. Let's do it.
Go.
That's black metal.
That's black metal.
If somebody tries to tell me, actually, that's not true, that is black metal.
Oh, well, okay.
You know, the low production value and all that stuff, like that's black metal.
Yeah.
Like, they're not trying to be all
Nope. Having trouble, like...
prissy, and then there's the
getting there with
tremolo
that.
stuff and all that jazz.
I liked the drummer.
The drummer's a bad name.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of like a similar category to Mayhem. Although lyrically, I felt this was a lot more
Better.
challenging than Mayhem.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mayhem. Like, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Boy. Okay, so this is 1349. I think the story behind this band is like they named the band after like when the Black Plague took out Europe. Was that the year?
Really?
That was the year
Yikes.
that the Black Plague took out Europe.
Okay.
So that's kind of a smart name for a band. I like smart names for bands. But then Korn's my favorite band, so whatever. Okay, so
Yeah, and I never thought that... Never mind.
I think the name of the record is Luciferian, I think. It's Lucy something. It's probably Luciferian. Okay. What'd you think of the song overall?
Overall, I thought that the lyrics in it, what they were talking about, like, either join that side, like they were, basically it was like an annihilation of the human race. It sounded like to me that demons were coming and they were basically saying, join us or you're gonna die.
Right.
So I thought that the message was pretty...
This is like the black metal Four Horsemen. You know? Ride with the horsemen or die, you know? Choose your fate and die!
Yeah.
This one is more like...
Don't ever compare Metallica on these people again. No. Oh, my face got red on that one.
Are you like legit angry that I made such a comparison?
Yes, and I'm embarrassed for you.
You're like legit turning
Yes,
red.
I can't
Wow.
believe
Wow. They're different genres.
Yeah, then keep them in their separate categories, please. Else I'm gonna turn into an elitist.
You've been having a lot of fun for the last few days. Huh? It's black metal.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be. You know, like I felt as I was listening to this, I was like, Mayhem had to be the sacrificial. Because I went back and listened to Freezing Moon a couple times.
Yeah, you like it better now?
Here's the thing to me about Freezing Moon that a lot of the emotional. You know, it's like you're supposed to be like devoted to the devil.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to be a hard motherfucker.
Yeah.
Why are you so sensitive?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Some
that's
small little reaction channel. Doesn't
yeah. Like here, we're nobody, and we're nobody. We're nothing. And you know, we said something bad about your. And here's the thing: we didn't say that Mayhem sucked per se. What I said was I don't understand how this particular song became such an iconic song.
Right.
Okay, so
I'm pretty sure I was very vocal about how terrible
you said it was
I
like
thought it
hell,
was.
and you felt all the minutes.
Every moment of it.
So I guess for me it was like the buildup of this is like a historical moment in black metal history and metal as a whole.
Yeah.
I was just like, don't get it. But this band, like, they're not carrying any of that expectation.
Oh, okay.
So like I feel like my brain is being rewired. It's just like with Dave's vocals.
Yeah.
Like I really liked Dave's vocals yesterday.
Yeah.
Now that the more and more I
forgot
think
we didn't
about
like
it,
him.
The more and more I think, well, but again, he wasn't trying to sing. He was basically projecting, I'm a badass.
Uh-huh.
You know, and whatever. So anyway, about this band, there wasn't a lot of like expectation for me. Like as soon as I heard like the opening stanza and riff, I was like, okay, this is because there's different types of black metal. Demo is like one type of black metal. Emperor is not like Demo, but they're not like these people either.
Right.
So like these people are like, this is a true cult shit. We're in the basement with one recorder and we're whatever.
Yep.
And I got the there's like this energy of like it's you're putting out a certain energy of like extreme, like here we are, blah.
When did you feel it the most?
when he basically said, "Don't fuck with us."
Okay, so in the middle there. For me, it was
said-
at the end when the lyrics had, when the words had stopped. Yeah, when they had stopped singing.
Don't oppose us.
Call that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't oppose us.
Right there at the end.
Yeah.
And then they went into the words were done, and then it was just like this. All this.
The
like,
drummer was like, "Ugh."
It's this. I got the same feeling. I friggin' love storms. Now I've never lived in an area where you were like life or death situation, you know. So if a storm is extreme in Maine, like, I mean,
Yeah.
you may have some elderly people pass away, and I'm not saying that that's good, but like there's always been like this excitement when there's like people start talking. There's going to be a big storm, even if there's not a big storm. I'm excited because they're saying there's a big storm. I love that. So that was the feeling that I got, like when it's friggin' downpouring. The other day it was raining so hard, like literally puddles were coming up in seconds, and I was like running out in the rain with the kids, and we're splashing in the puddles, having a really good time. And like I love that feeling, or when there's really bad lightning and thunder and stuff like that. So at the end of the song, I felt like that, like same excitement, and the noise to me was very storm-like.
Yeah. Yeah, it was yeah.
There's the chaos and the order that comes with a storm, anyway, it had all that. I didn't really at the beginning and toward the middle of the song. I was kind of like,
Well, I felt like, this is how I am. This is what people didn't understand about the Mayhem review. If the music, and this is actually a strength of me as a listener, actually, I think. Actually, somebody's gonna be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, don't worry about them, Vin. Tell me.
Forgive all.
Forgive him.
If the music is like crazy and terrible, I'll like switch over and say, what about the lyrics?
Yeah.
Because the lyrics are like an instrument for me almost. It's extremely difficult for me to explain.
Well,
but
I think it's the way your mind works too.
So Freezing Moon, I was trying to make that switch, but it was like everybody's following the freezing moon, you're in a cemetery. I completely get it. Like, it just wasn't there for me. And that was like coming on the heels of, I think it was Emperor or Demu, which had some very sophisticated, lyrics. Yeah. So like, I was like, okay, I jumped off the music thing and went to the lyric thing, and I found nothing. These guys, though, there's a specific, blood red is the sky, blood red is the earth, blood red are the rivers and mountains that we pass. Black smoke fills the air from the corpse pyres around, burning mankind and have it buried underground. Like, that little section right there, I was like, yes! It's like thinking through, like, a lot of times you read lyrics, this happens in worship too all the time, like a lot of times you read lyrics and you're like not seeing what the people are saying.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you were in a crew of dudes, right? And then, like, you were, like, going out to just completely crush and dominate everything, in your Viking march or whatever. And, like, the sky is red, the mountains are red, and blood everywhere. And like, it's a terrible, horrible picture, but it's like, that's an amazing world to, like, that's a crazy atmosphere to be in. You know, and, like, going there in your mind and be like, yikes. You know what I mean? And, of course, and I think about the psycho-spiritual ramifications of, like, again, this misanthropy where you want to kill all human beings.
Yeah.
I'm very, very fascinated with this in the metal community. Because these are the same people that are upset when God floods the earth.
Right.
These are the same people like, God, you're God, supposedly flooded the earth and
maybe that's because
killed all those innocent people.
Maybe they don't see themselves to be moral beings, so then they figure that they, if they do it, fine, but
I don't think they're making the connection between what they're saying about God and what they're singing about, because it seems like it seems like it's this whole misanthropic strain within metal almost, where people hate human beings, they hate humanity. So what did you think was going on? Did you think it was demons, because it says the demon army?
Yeah. I actually didn't even hear them say demon army. It just sounded like demons, and I don't know if that's because the name of the song is Legion, and when I think Legion, I always think of that demon that when Jesus had that interaction with that man. Right. He asked them, the demon, what was your name? And he said, Legion, for we are many. Like, I always think, whenever I hear Legion, I always think, remember you worked with that lady who named her kid Legion?
Yeah.
Never understood that. But anyway, so that's all I think of is like demon. Demons. Which is weird because, I mean, the Roman army, they had legions, but I don't think Roman army or anything like that. I always think demons when I hear it. A legion is like, how many is a legion?
I
can't
thought
remember.
the Roman legion was 10K. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. It's 10,000 or whatever. It's a lot of people. But yeah, so there's this guy who's possessed with demons. And
He's running around naked, cutting himself.
And the
they
entire...
tried to like, and this is the thing too, because we've had these discussions, like, is there a difference between, psychological imbalances and stuff, and then somebody who's actually demon possessed?
Right.
And this guy, like, they had tried natural ways to like constrain him. They even tied him, and do they use chains?
Yeah.
Yeah, they chained him and everything, and he broke through everything. So he had like this supernatural strength about him, and the whole village was really afraid of him because the guy was really out of control. And they would hear him crying out in the night and cutting himself. It's actually pretty terribly sad, like, if you think about, like, when you just hear the story out there, but then when you think, like, whoa, like, what if that was, like, your family member that was in that situation? Like, how terrible that would be. But anyway, when Jesus shows up to him, he asks them, go ahead.
So the dude who's full of these demons runs up to Jesus, and the demon starts speaking through the guy and says, what are we to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? Have you come to punish us before the time?
Yeah.
And then Jesus says, what's your name? And then the head demon responds by saying, my name is Legion, for we are many.
Right.
Which is very, very curious. Yeah. So it's like, there were a whole bunch of demons that were inhabiting this dude.
Right.
And then he...
which makes sense when you think about the strength and the different things that he was doing.
Well, yeah, he was doing a lot of crazy things, right? And then and so then Jesus says, well, get out of here. And then the demons start begging, like, well, let us go into these herd of pigs. And then they went over and, whatever. So what's interesting about that story?
What?
Is like, why did they choose that guy of all the people to inhabit? You know what I mean? Like, it's so interesting to me.
Well, I always think, like, remember, so the end of the story is Jesus sends them into the pigs.
That's where I was going. Yeah,
and then all the pigs they jump off the cliff into the water, and the whole village is actually angry with Jesus because their pigs were lost. So they cared more about their pigs than they cared about the man. And I thought, it never mentions that there was even one person that was like, so happy to have their family member home. So I thought maybe he was kind of off by himself and he was alone, and then that subjected him to certain things that he normally wouldn't have engaged in had he had family, or a village.
True. Join the village.
Yeah.
Facebook.com/Vin and Sori, and you won't have any demons. Oh, it's half true. Well, the other thing is that after the guy so they kicked Jesus out of the town because Jesus messed with their finance, with their capitalism.
Yeah.
So they didn't really care about the fact that this human being got rescued from these demons. All they cared about was, you fucked up our pig industry. So they said, please leave. So as Jesus is like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about the stories in the Bible, is like, they're extremely reflective of how human beings are. Mm-hmm. That is what human beings would do. Mm-hmm. If you were just making a fantasy story, you'd be like, oh, you're awesome, come hang out. And like, these people react in a very surprising yet extremely human way.
Yeah.
This is awesome that you did that magic trick. You just fucked up our commerce. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Right? And then so the guy is like, hey, let me follow you. Mm-hmm. And Jesus is like, nah, man, not right now. Go tell everybody in your city what I did for you. Mm-hmm. So the guy goes on this big, giant preaching tour. Mm-hmm. And I think like that is the reason that the demons went after him, because they knew of everybody in the city, this is a guy who'd be the most open to Jesus, and this is a guy who would do the most damage if he was on a good team. So
he had to do that alone too, because
he had to do it alone.
Nobody was on his side, and everybody was angry with him. So it's not like just walking into a fresh city and saying, "Hey, I have some awesome, like, cool ideas."
Yeah, he terrorized the whole city.
He terrorized the city.
Yeah.
They saw him naked, running around, shaming himself, cutting himself, all these things. Like, they saw him at his worst.
Yeah.
And then he went about preaching the message to them. So it's like, I don't know, there's a lot of elements to that story that's like, you're right, like, he was, but you wouldn't know it if you saw him before Jesus got to him.
Well, he would have been in the corpse paint and all that shit. It's like that dude from that band, he cuts himself on stage and all that shit. That guy's obviously demonized.
Yeah.
But it's like, so it's interesting, the whole scene of black metal. Like, when I look at these guys, I don't go, look at these demon, people. I'm like, these people have been specifically tormented because if they were on the side of Christ,
Right.
they would do anything that we're
Irreparable
doing.
damage, yeah.
They would
Right.
make us look like schoolboys
Yeah.
and schoolgirls. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's an interesting concept to me. It's like, because there are a lot of people that Jesus healed that were like, thanks, and
Yep.
went on with their day. Like, not this dude.
No.
He's like, look, let me follow you. If not, I'm going to go and tell everybody what you did. Like,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
And so when I think about black metal and I think about people being demonized, like, I think like that one girl that we were working with, and she was woman. I mean,
Yeah.
she's your age. She had that situation. We prayed over her for a couple of days, and then she got freed. And then right after that, she's running around helping people, and
Yeah.
and remember
Yep.
that whole girl was abused, and she
Oh, I
set her
know.
up at the hotel and stayed
Yep.
with her till 2 a.m. Like
Yep.
immediately, it's like.
Yep.
So when I hear about these like black metal artists like killing themselves or cutting themselves up, of course they don't know that that's what happened in the Bible.
I know.
That's what people were doing.
I know.
They don't know.
Yeah,
that.
right.
They think that But anyway, the name of the demons were Legion.
You know what's so
nicknamed
sad
themselves
about
Legion.
that guy cutting himself on the stage and stuff? Like one of his shows, he got out there and like people were upset because he hadn't cut himself that particular time, and he was saying the reason that he would cut himself is because there was like, I can't remember what it was. I almost want to say that it was something like because he wanted to feel that, but then he was at the point where he was so desensitized to it that he didn't feel it anymore, so then it was pointless for him to do it.
Right.
But I felt sick like to think that like we're spending our time like trying to get people to stop cutting, you know what I mean, and like care for their bodies and care for themselves and like recognize who they are and like sit on the throne they were meant to rule on, in a sense, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like to think that somebody else would be concerned that the person hadn't cut
Well,
and want them to cut
they bought the ticket
so they could see that.
so they could see that show.
And that to me is
it's just like the
ridiculously sad.
It's just like the people in the village, like they didn't care about that guy. He was just, put him over there, let him howl in the thing, and if he gets healed.
Oh, I thought you meant our village. I'm like,
No.
What are you
Our
talking about?
village is not. Our people
I'm
aren't
like,
like
who-
that.
what are
I'm
you
just
talking
saying,
about?
like the
No.
people in the Bible,
In that-
like
in
they're-
that story,
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. The
No,
Bible's
they
so
didn't
true to
care.
life. They didn't care about that guy.
And the
they just
thing is-
don't make our lives harder.
There was other stories where there was people that had demons in them, and then the family members or other people would go to Jesus and say, "Help us."
Yeah, the father.
You know,
with
the
son.
father. Yeah. So, but this guy nobody was going. Like Jesus had it happen by there. And help the man out because nobody even
Well, he specifically went there for that guy.
nobody even cared to help the guy.
Yeah. Well, Jesus specifically went there for that guy because he doesn't do anything else in that area.
That's true.
He goes there, gets the guy free, and then he gets kicked out.
Yep. That's true.
He specifically went there for that dude. Mm-hmm. That's why I love him. Mm-hmm.
Jesus specifically came here for some of you guys.
But it's like, yeah, it's
Lots of people are saying it, like they're saying that they're like rethinking things and like
And the funny thing
meeting
is,
Jesus in a different way.
The funny thing is like that's not our intention. Just want to review music.
I know, literally. Our first song was "Sick" by Slipknot. People have been asking; they want to see that one. What?
It's right there.
There you go. Oh, I'm like, what? Did I say the wrong one? I
There
thought it
you
was
are.
"Sick."
It's
Yeah.
right there.
See how we've grown.
Like a ghost, I wander with John from reality. See, I think that this is actually a human being who is demonized. Because he says, like a ghost, I wander, becoming a misanthrope.
He said summoning spirits to me.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Which
What's that?
a misanthrope is a person, like a misogynist.
Yeah.
Is a gynae.
Oh,
means
oh,
woman,
oh,
mis,
that's right. So
means
we're
you hate.
This is hating.
So
hating humanity.
anthropos is right. So you hate
I
humans.
know we've talked about it before, and I always forget that word.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is like this story could very easily have been the story from the Bible. The guy
wow.
Because look, like a ghost, I wander. Like
Yeah.
a ghost, he was hanging out in the graveyard.
Yes, he was.
Withdrawn from reality. He was
Yep.
an outcast from society, becoming a misanthrope.
Wow.
Because if you're cast out of society and nobody cares about you, then you're going to start hating human beings. Summoning spirits to me.
Wow.
Can you imagine being so lonely that you want demons to keep you company?
Actually, yeah, I can see that.
Like, why would you? And
I think that
Go ahead.
Well, I've heard different people say, like, it's not always scary, like the form that the demon shows up with, you know, because it says that Satan is an angel of light.
Right.
And so he deceives and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people, it becomes scary as things progress. But I don't think that it's always the case. And I think sometimes, no, I don't think sometimes. I'm saying some of the discussions that I've had with people, the way, the form or which the demon showed up to them, they felt like it was a friend or like an older person to them or like a child or different things like that. And so they knew it was a spirit. And they knew that it wasn't necessarily like a good spirit, but they were like, oh, a lot of people think that there's like an in-between. There's good spirits, there's bad spirits, and then there's spirits that are wandering around because they didn't finish their time on Earth and stuff. And it's those spirits that they're sympathetic towards because they want to help them out a lot of times. That's from the conversations that I personally had with people.
You personally?
I personally.
Well, no, I've heard very, very similar things, and then they want the thing to leave, and then it becomes extremely dark and violent.
Right, and I was going to say violent.
Switches like that.
Yeah.
And, well, and you kind of get that. Lend us your sword, and ours will be yours. Give us your strength, and receive it tenfold. You know, like it's like this. Like, hey, we're in it together. It's like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
You know. But then, of course, you know, it's challenging though as a Christian because it does seem that the forces of darkness are more apt to reveal themselves when they're called upon than God does.
Yes.
It's a pretty provocative thing to say.
I know, but that's why when you asked the demon question, why people would call on a demon for friendship, I thought that's why I said I could see people doing it because yeah.
Because I've been through times, you've been through times when you're like, there have been times when you call in God's presence, like boom, it's right there. He shows up and, and it's like, man,
like, I'll never forget this.
I'm gonna walk through coals, and then there are times you're like, all right, God, and like,
I need you so much right now.
Complete radio silence, black, done. But it seems like when people summon like evil spirits, like they're there on call, you know, and some of.
Well, I think that part of it is that God is obviously going to a bigger purpose. You know, and he's working out a greater good in you. And we can't see it because we don't see everything. And the demon is not looking out for your greater good. The only thing that he's looking to do is deceive you. So the minute you call, he's ready to answer because he knows that he can play off the fact that God is working for your greater good. He's like, oh, he's not coming at this point, at this time. Now it's time for me to go in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, evil people do a very good job at reinterpreting God's silence.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think that it's just evil people, but I think that, you know, I don't think that it's just evil. Like, I think that sometimes when you just feel like...
No, I don't think it's exclusive. No,
people.
No, what I'm saying is reinterpreting, though.
What?
In the sense of saying... Because you see it all through the scriptures, like, God, why have you forsaken me, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
The psalmist says it, Jesus says it.
Right, Jesus says it himself.
But anytime you read through the psalmist always has an understanding that God really is there. He's just quiet for some inexplicable reason. Every psalm that you read, the psalmist always comes to that conclusion.
Yeah.
What I'm saying when I say reinterpret, what I'm saying is there is this, God is silent because he doesn't love you, doesn't care, he hates your guts. He loves other people, he doesn't love you. That is what I'm saying when I say they reinterpret God's silence because a normal, you know, so like, you know, it's a pretty crazy thing, and it's like there's some level to where it's like, okay, there's an ultimate plan here somewhere because it's like if I was God, I would be a lot more, hey, you know, like I've got friends in the village right now that are like, hey, if he would show up, I know. You know, I would, you know, but, and they're extremely angry at him for it. Like, I read you that thing one time where he said, I don't talk to him because he's a blank, 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 because he won't reveal himself. But there's a lot of pain in that. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know,
most people would have been so offended by the words that they wouldn't have seen the pain.
Oh, well, yeah, but I mean, he says, you know, there's that scene in Noah.
Yeah.
Where Tubal-Cain is saying...
In the movie.
Yeah, in the movie Noah, where Tubal-Cain, the bad guy character, he's by himself and he's talking to God and he's saying...
Which we don't find a lot of that movie accurate to the scriptures, FYI. Well, I just want to put that out there because some people don't know that, so...
Nobody believes that we think that giant rock monsters were fighting. I mean, come on.
We have over 40,000 people that watch this. Probably who knows how many over the course of the time. I want to make sure people understand.
So Tubal-Cain is prey.
There's always the one.
He's a bad guy. And he's the arch villain in the movie, and he says, "Am I not made in your image? Why won't you speak to me?"
Oh, I know that part was hard.
It's heartbreaking.
Yep.
You know, and you know, we've seen people who like, oh, they get baptized and then they get all these crazy revelations from God or whatever, and then you got this other Christian who's been a Christian struggling on their last limb and like nothing.
Yep.
And that's where the reinterpretation comes in. Oh, he loves this person, doesn't really love you.
Right. Yep.
So it's strange to me. Like somebody was asking us, like, why would you as a Christian listen to black metal? It's because it's like, I want to know what's going on. Like we're withdrawn from reality, summoning spirits. Like I don't judge a person for that. Like I don't think it's in their it's not in their best interest. But I don't, and I even understand why you would become misanthropic like that. There's only so much a human soul can take as far as rejection goes. Before, you know, you start doing that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, it opens you up to, but, like, the code is in there. Like, they're saying we want to destroy all human beings. So it's like, if you join with them, like, you're one of those human beings. It's about, you know, steal, kill, and destroy.
Yep.
Defeat of mankind, a victory from misanthropy. You know, it's like...
Oh, wow. Suffocated by the ashes. Utopia of thy design.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like, you know, everybody in every sphere of the world and thought has an understanding that there's something wrong with human beings.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
There's something wrong with us.
Right.
And it's like, say what you want about the doctrine of an original sin. I say this all the time, but like, you wouldn't have songs like this.
Right.
Celebrating the destruction of human beings if all of us were these good, awesome, nice, wonderful people. Right. And it's like, people are like, well, I mean, they don't mean it literally. Like, I get that, because if they meant it literally, they'd be going around killing people. But there's something inside of them that's making them create art like this.
Yep.
And they're not the only ones, right?
Yep.
I've ran into a lot of misanthropes, like, since we started the channel, and it's like it's rooted in a lot of pain and not being able to place why these things have happened to all of us. You know,
that's a big question for a lot of people.
Yeah, like it's extremely like I said, you know, I lost a lot of innocence as a human being when I was finally exposed to the Holocaust. And I don't think I've ever gotten over that. I mean, that's one of the reasons staying away from certain songs from Slayer, for example, because, you know, it's a terrible burden to be able to exist in this world knowing the evil that human beings are capable of and how just mean people are mean. Like, people are just straight up mean for no reason.
Yeah.
And it can turn, if you don't have the right ways to handle that, and you're one of those people that is more broad in your understanding of looking at the world, it's a very extremely difficult thing to be able to,
I think,
continue.
The only thing like that offsets it is when you also look at how wildly beautiful human beings are and what they're capable of in spite of the fact that they're evil as hell.
Right.
Like, some of the stuff, anytime like we saw tragedies, we saw people just begin to start giving and stuff. Like, you remember there was that fire? And it was in the middle of the night, and there was a fire, and everybody had to be out of their building, and like, you know, we opened up where our church was, opened it up, and like people started coming in, and like they were getting warm and everybody just like worked together to get people coffee and make them eggs and make them comfortable, and other people were helping other people. Like, it wasn't even just people from our church, but other people were saying, you need clothes, I have clothes. If you need this, I have that, you know.
These are people who have nothing.
These are literally have nothing. And you see them giving and giving. And sometimes the stuff that they were giving, like, you know, I remember seeing this woman, like, there was an alcoholic, and he was like, he needed another bottle, you know, because he was like coming down and he was starting to feel really terrible. And so she helped him by getting, and I was like, you know, overall, like, it's not a good plan. But, like, I saw what she was doing in that moment. She was like, you know, she didn't have much money herself, but she was going to use that to get him because she could see he was struggling. But, I mean, she wasn't looking at the bigger picture. But I saw I saw people give up things from what they didn't even have to begin with, and like I think that
but we created an environment
in which they
where
would be
were
in that
able to
situation.
do that.
Yes,
because us going down there said, no, it's not every man for himself. And then once people realized that, they were like, well.
No, I agree that, but I think lots of them were doing it before we got there too.
I don't know. It doesn't look like that now.
Well, I mean, I'm sure, no, not all of them, but I think that some of them were just very giving people.
I think we have it in us because you haven't lost the image of God because you're still on the planet.
Right.
It's just people need a context around being able to do that on a consistent basis.
No, I agree, and I think that it definitely increased, and people were looking for opportunities, and
so very, very deep song actually. I was halfway through the song, I was like, I get this, I understand, like the black metal and I could still ride the wave. The notes were not very distinct, but I could still like find the wave to go into it. So I was like, all right. And I liked the lyrics. The lyrics were challenging. Sorry, Mayhem.
What are you giving it?
I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Whoa.
It's an 8.5 for me.
Wow. Okay.
I'll tell you what. For this type of black metal, this is the best song for this type of black metal.
I totally agree with that. I'm with you 100% on that one.
You know, it's not Demu, it's not Emperor, but it's like the Mayhem type of black metal. And this is 8.5 for me. What do you give?
Okay. Well, I thought the lyrics made sense, the way that they structured it and the way that they kind of brought the message across. I thought they did well with that. And some of it was some of the way that he worded things. I was like, whoa, okay, like that part that I read about the Utopia.
Do not oppose us.
Suffocated by the ashes, Utopia of thy design. Like that line to me is like crazy. Because whenever we think of Utopia, we always think of like perfection and stuff like that. Right. And then this is like complete annihilation of all the entire human race. That's why it's of thy design. I don't know. So just pretty crazy. And the picture, like suffocated by the ashes, like holy cow, like that's like.
What do you give the song?
Let me speak. You always do all the talking. Let me talk, for heaven's sakes. Here they come. Riding in. Anyway, so because of that, then I'm a little bit debating because I don't know. I do think that they're the best of the best. Stop doing that. That distracted me right now from what I was saying.
What are you
said that
talking
to me. You didn't get the song. I think I'm gonna go with a 7.5. I was gonna give it a 4. And then as it was going, I was like, oh, this is a 4, this is a 4. And then when it hit the end, and then I was able to jump on that thing and like get that feeling of like that storm feeling in the end, I was like, okay. And then when we went over the lyrics, that's what brought it up. So I say
that drummer is a badass.
Oh, I like the drummer, yeah. You know, the way the drumming was, it was kind of like deep and like boof, boof, boof. I liked it. Like. Well,
yeah, he's definitely loving the bass drums at the end.
I was like, what kind of stick does he have? Is it one of the ones with like a little puffy ball at the end?
You're gonna get a lot of shit for that one. Watch out. Probably a meme.
Oh, no.
7.5, 8.5. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.